and I'm trying to get it to video. All right, we're good. I think we're good for now anyway. There's a wealth of information at your fingertips at auditnewyork.com. I encourage you to just take a look. It's a real easy site to navigate. There's a lot of documents and information there. There's also a tab that you can click for volunteer, and it's just a short form that you fill out. We have all different people from all walks of life, different skill sets. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but there's a lot to do. It can be as minimal as making phone calls, entering data, attending meetings. Hopefully soon we're going to have some sine waves. We try to make it fun, and at least I do. All right, so the New York Citizens Audit used the Freedom of Information Law to obtain official data from these sources. The New York State Board of Elections voter rolls were provided to us on October 21st, 2021. The county voter rolls, and not all counties responded to our FOIL requests. There are 62 counties in this state. It's a big state. I don't know exactly how many of the counties honored our FOIL requests. I'm gonna say around half of those 62. I'm on the FOIL team. I've been on the FOIL team since the very beginning. Some counties have been very cooperative, and some it's been really difficult. Those sources of information are how we gathered the information that I'm gonna give you now. And also the New York State Secretary of State's official website information came from there. You know, what we really want is for New York State, we want all the states to follow the law. Voter rolls, they must be accurate. If they're not accurate, how can we have a fair election? Votes counted must be from qualified electors. The number of votes must equal the number of voters, which is not what happened. New York State, you have a state voter ID number, one. For as long as you're in this state, you can move from New York City to Greene County. That voter ID, state voter ID, stays with you. If you leave the state, it just dormant, it becomes purged. The county ID has their own number. So I just keep that in mind. 2,427,827, New York State ID numbers are attached to 1,170 registrants. So what does that mean? It means some people have two state voter ID numbers. They don't know it. And that's a felony, especially if those two vote.
And can you say the numbers again?
Yes.
It's on that paper.
It's right. Yeah. Can you? Oh yeah, it is on the paper. It is on the paper.
Do you have that paper?
Yes.
The summary sheet.
Yeah, the summary sheet.
No, I don't.
If anyone doesn't have the summary sheet, just raise your hand.
There are 987,490 voters registered on July 1st from 1900 to 2021. So those people that were born in 1900, I gotta find out what they're taking for vitamins and what water they're drinking. There are 625,359 more registrations than voting age citizens in 6 of the 62 counties. Now, don't forget, we didn't get the data from all the counties, so my numbers are actually low. We could only get the information that we got. There are 338,356 more votes cast than voters that voted in 2020. Let me say that again. There are 338 356 more votes cast than there were voters in 2020.
And that's just in those.
That's just from the data that we received, okay?
So it's a lot more.
In New York.
Exactly. And it's New York. Other states are starting to ask us to help out. They're definitely taking a look at their voter rolls. This is, I think when we first started, we weren't expecting to really find much of anything. So these numbers are pretty astounding. 195,271 votes cast in New York City went missing in the New York State voter database. Over 1 million felony violations in New York State election law we found. 95 state and federal legislative races impacted by 396 eligible voters. An end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections is warranted. And that's what we want. We want an end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections. This can't stand. What have we been doing? We've been meeting with the legislator. We met with officials. We had call campaigns. We attended a lobby day. It was all volunteers from the New York Citizens Audit. And we actually went to the Capitol and met with our assemblymen, senators, whoever would receive us. We were received, but we're still working on it. We want to, and we are bringing our resolution for audit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did Greene County respond to your FOIL Act?
Greene County did, because we have the data for just Greene County.
What other counties, there was only 6 that responded?
No,
62.
62 counties
In the state?
in the state. I don't remember the exact number. I'm gonna say it was half.
Yes. And then no one went after them when they didn't respond to the FOIL?
Oh, we did. We served them with a petition. We served them not with a lawsuit, but with a notice of claim,
Yes.
so that we could have a year from the date of the notice of claim to file something. They know about it, and we did we did them in person.
And did the Secretary of State help with those FOILs? Because that's her job?
Yeah, no. No, it was tough. It's still tough. We're working on 2022 now. And, we haven't stopped. There's a team that does just researched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, all volunteer. We have a brilliant PhD who found the algorithm in the database itself under layers and layers and layers of code. You can see videos on Rumble. We have a lot of videos that explain all of this, and he goes through exactly how he found it and how how diversified it is. But when you watch his video, it's really eye-opening. I watched the whole thing, and there are shorter ones too.
I know that the group's nonpartisan, but the counties that responded, was that a partisan issue?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so there was none.
They were much more cooperative in the beginning than they turned out to be towards the end. Because I can just imagine why. I think at this point, they're talking to each other. Who are these people? I mean, we're talking a lot of FOIL requests about a lot of different information. And as we kept finding stuff, we kept foiling for other information to compare it to what we found. It doesn't appear that it's really the counties. This is probably most likely happening at the state level. But the counties don't, yeah. Where was I? Oh, resolution. We've been bringing resolution for audit to our local governments, our local municipalities, villages, towns, small cities, whoever we can present the resolution too. We're presenting, the resolution is all about encouraging, asking on the municipality level, the bottom up, for the New York State Board of Elections to please do this audit. I can't tell you exactly how many have signed. We have had success. We're still doing it. It's a big, huge undertaking because you can imagine in 62 counties how many municipalities there are. But we actually go to their board meetings, or whatever they call them, town meetings, and they're usually once a month, and we present the resolution to the board. We usually only have 3 minutes to speak, but you know, if you have 4 or 5 people there, we get the message across. We have been meeting with town officials ahead of time, which is also been working out quite well. The petition, we have a petition for signatures, and there's one here at the back table, and I would love for you to sign it. There's also, you can read what the petition is all about, and basically the petition is the same thing as the resolution. We would like an end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections. We do have a legal fund. There's a donation page on auditnewyork.com. You can follow us on social media, and if you do have social media, I encourage you to please, you don't have to put the tweets or whatever out yourself, but if you would retweet what we put in there, it's very powerful. Social media is very, very powerful, and as many people as we could reach, the better. So, volunteer opportunities I spoke to you about. We have a research team, we have a PR team, we have a fundraising team, we have county strike teams, which some of us are here. Our county strike teams, we've also been meeting in person once a month, and we've been doing like a capital district one, so that, you know, there's more of us, but certainly if there's more Greene County volunteers, you don't have to drive to Albany or Rensselaer County. Although I love having it. I love having everyone. So we have our social media team, our FOIL team, which anybody that wants to help out with that, you are most welcome. There was never enough of us, but we do it. We have an IT team. We have a legislative team, business team, a design team, a legal team, and a canvas team. And we have been canvassing. You know, I told you about those double registrations. We've actually been canvassing these people. We've been going to their homes. Some people have 2. There's someone that has 25. Yeah, I don't think he exists, but we did canvass. We went to the address that we were given. And some of the people live at FedEx. I don't know, when we go to the address. But anyway, it's a very tedious thing, but we are doing it. We're doing it in Rensselaer County. I know you've done some in Albany.
I just wanted to add.
Sure, go ahead.
The gentleman that has the 25 State Board of Election ID numbers, he also had an address in Greene County, and I went to canvass, and it was in a trailer park, and I met a few people there, and no one had heard of him at all. So this person, we don't even think he exists.
No, we don't.
So.
It is very possible he does not exist.
So what happened?
What happens? This is all evidence. This
Well,
is,
yes, but in Greene County, did our county board of election chair take it off the list, his name?
Well,
it would have to be the person to go and take it off.
No, or a family, yeah, if they're dead. They told me, that the family had to send a letter in because when I was running for something, there were so many people that had died or moved out of
Right.
state or just weren't nowhere. So then they told me the family had to send a letter, but if the family doesn't have
Yeah, but this person doesn't exist. And this was an assignment that I had through the canvassing team.
Right.
That I would go out and all I did was get the information, do the affidavit, and that was it. And now it's to the legal team to, whatever, they can add it to their, you know.
Right, every canvasser does an affidavit after they speak with somebody. And all of that is uploaded onto our not the website, not auditnewyork.com, but a secure site that we have. And so that'll be part of legal action when we can take it. And so canvassing is pretty important. I mean, yeah, we can show you the numbers and we can show you the addresses and we can show you the 25 names on the database, but we have to prove it. We have to, so we go out and we talk to as many as we can. Now, we have what we call walkbooks. Rensselaer County, they gave me 2,200, but it's really 1,100 people. So there's many more, but obviously my team is 1,100 is plenty to go visit.
So, just, who do you think is making up all these names? Is it the government? I mean, really,
Well, some of these names are a maiden name. Somebody gets married and then somehow that married person goes and changes their name, but they end up with 2 ID numbers instead of the same one being updated.
They're just fraud.
okay.
Some of them are like things like Frank Rose and then Rose Frank. Same address, same age. Yeah, same age, same everything. So there's a lot of ways, but if you go to the website and go to Rumble and watch some of the videos, he'll explain it much better than I can. And it's very interesting. It really is. It grabs you because you're like, oh my gosh, how's this happening? What is happening?
Deanna, you have a question over here?
Sure.
So, I have 2 questions. Your legal team, who are they?
Our legal team is not somebody that, this legal team that we have is advising us on the 501c3. All right, because if anybody's gonna get scrutiny, that's gonna be a group like us. So we want every I dotted, every T crossed, every dime that comes in accounted for. As far as a legal team to take us to where we want to go, and $1.5 million, we can do that. That's what they're telling us it would take. We're going to take New York Citizen Audit is going to go national, and we are going to raise funds. We have a legal team that has a lot of ideas. There's ideas either I don't know about or I'm not at liberty to share about how we're going to go about this, but there is a plan. There's a plan. It's just going to take a lot. And we only have 18 months till the next election. So we're not going to give up. We're not going to be quiet. We're not going to go anywhere. So we'll see. They're on to us. They know.
How does somebody vote if they don't have, if they're not real? Like, how does that vote count?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know. Are they using an absentee ballot with that ID number and that address and that person? We just know it's happening.
That's what I was going to ask. If we each have an ID number, is there a way we can find out?
Well, you won't have a duplicate one on the county level. It's on the state level that this is happening. So I guess unless I don't have access to the database.
I think when you go to vote in the books, there's an ID number, now that I'm listening to you.
Yes, State Board of Elections ID number, SBEOID it's called, and then there's a county ID.
I would think that the state board
I don't know the
I
answer
mean,
to
it's your
that.
ID
Do you know?
number, so.
I mean, we have the ID numbers on the database. That's how we sorted them and found them all.
Right, yeah, so.
I mean, if you were on,
I just wondered if an individual would have more rights to say, can I look at my ID number and see where people are signing in?
you may, well, go ahead,
I
Esther.
know that when you go to vote, whether someone has 2 registrations or not, there's only gonna be 1 registration that's
Right.
available when you vote.
Right,
So, and,
one signature, one vote.
and no individual can access these additional registrations to vote twice. And yet some of them have voted twice in the sense that their votes shown in the voter registration database. And
Right.
it looks like they're being manipulated on the state level.
On the state level. And have you seen the videos that James O'Keefe has put out with the people that are donating multiple times a day, thousands of dollars? That's happening too. These people have no idea. They put $5 in and then all of a sudden it gets multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. They're using their name. So it's kind of like a money laundering scheme. It's pretty crazy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
My only comment is this duplication that you're witnessing and finding out about has probably been going on for a very long time.
Yes, yes.
Because I know, in working in the areas I've worked in within the state of New York, I've been called more than once because somebody that I was having on payroll appeared on the welfare rolls.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And they tried to tell me I had to get that person that was working for me to get a new ID number because this baby had it. And I says, well, since the person that has it working for me has had it for 60 years, I think the baby needs to be changed, not the older adult.
Right,
And they didn't like that.
no. No, they don't like to be called out on their data.
No, nor does motor vehicle like to be called out on the fact that you're making all the people who've been born and raised in this country, have registered and
Right.
had their driver's license for years, suddenly prove who they are. When the people they should have been proving, and we know it's a fact, that they create multiple identities, and in the world of computers, it's a lot easier to do.
It is. It really is. And, but what's happening here, this manipulation that I'm talking to you about is very, very, very intricate at a very high level. And like I said, there's layers of code. There are 4 different algorithms that were found. We have some Substack articles that the gentleman wrote that has been working with the rolls that found all this.
And they can set the count so that if for so many voters here of this group, they'll count the next group.
Yet they certified an election that we know for a fact has over 338,000 votes than voters. That's not all the counties, that's not all the information. So how do you certify something like that? They do. And so you have legislators in Albany that, are put masks on your kids, want to vaccinate them, want to, what's the new thing that just came out that I was just reading that, oh yeah, the without parental permission, right. All this stuff. These legislators, how many of them can prove that they won? Can they prove that they won? If there's more voters or more votes than voters, can they show you? Is it possible? You have to see this American Thinker article. If anybody wants me to email it to them, just leave your email address before you leave. I hate to read this whole thing because it's long, but the algorithm is hidden in New York State voter rolls. The algorithm linked county voter identification, CID numbers are the county ID numbers, CID. And the State Board of Elections identification, SBOEID numbers, in such a way that it could be used as a third ID number. This could be used to clandestinely tag and track records of interest, such as phantom voters. So this article was written by the man who found the algorithm, and we also just had a peer-reviewed paper published. And it's behind a paywall right now, but as soon as we get that, we're going to put that out. That's very exciting to have our work validated in that way, in a peer review. That's really going to be a tough thing to.
It's in the Journal of Information Warfare.
Right.
That's the journal where the article is.
But it's behind a paywall, so we're trying to get it out from behind that paywall. Although you can read, I think, a few paragraphs.
Yeah.
But this is so much of what that paper is about, this American Thinker article. And it's written by the same gentleman, so I highly recommend.
And that would be Dr. Zark on the website.
Dr. Zark on the
His
website.
would be Dr. Zark.
Here's another question here.
Sure.
You said that you need over $1 million to fight this, just in New York State?
Yes.
Have you contacted like the Heritage Group or even?
We
the
have
event?
talked to so many people.
And
We
they're
have talked to,
accepting?
who's that? The one, Tom Fitton,
Judicial Watch.
Judicial Watch.
Judicial Watch, okay.
They have not been willing to help us. They have not been willing
What
to
about Bill O'Reilly?
take it on. Well, we're contacting as many of those people as we can. If you go to our the Rumble site, you'll see that Marley, our director, has been on a lot of shows. You know, the station that Steve Bannon is on, America's Sunrise, is the show on before Steve. Ed Henry used to be with Fox News. He was a White House correspondent for many years. He's been really good to us, and he's put us on air a lot. We've done a lot of local radio, a lot of local TV. And when I say local, I mean around the state. We've contacted everyone, and we continue to do so. And the more volunteers we get, the more people are themselves trying to get us the exposure. I know, like I said, I use social media every single day. I just put the information out over and over and over. I tweet our legislators by their handle. I tweet the media, local media as well as conservative media. So, you know, we're only as old as July of 2021, and the first year was gathering this information. I mean, it was, when I tell you hundreds and hundreds of man hours went into this project, I'm not exaggerating. Some really, really dedicated people. Thank God, really. Let's see where we're. Here's a Thomas Paine quote. The right of voting for representatives is the primary right by which other rights are protected. And the last slide I have is, you know, they ask us why. Why do you volunteer? Why did you start this? Well, everybody has different reasons, and you don't really even have to have a reason. I mean, most people say, well, my kids, my grandchildren, I want my vote to count. We can't stop voting. We can't stop voting. It can't happen. We have to keep voting. And we have to keep fighting. So I have this handsome guy right here. He came to this country when he was 34 years old. He's my father. And he flew the American flag on our front porch even when it wasn't a holiday. It never came down. It was never tattered. It was never dirty. He was so happy to be here. And he went through a lot to get here. He met my mother here, and So every time I get tired, or I think I gotta send another FOIL request out, or I gotta do another follow-up, or I gotta get ready for a meeting, I think about him and I think, well, you know, if he was here, he probably would have got involved with his broken English and his accent that he never lost. But one time he told me, he said, you know, I have everything. We had a two-family house in the city of Binghamton. He told me, he said, I have everything. I have your mother, I have you 3 girls, and I have this old house, and everything else is extra. So you just never forget where you come from. And that's it. That's the presentation I have for you. And I'm sorry I couldn't answer your questions exactly, succinctly, perfectly.
Can you share what the State Board of Elections has done? Sending out letters?
Yes, the State Board of Elections has sent out a letter to every single county, not naming us as New York Citizens Audits, naming us as a group that has some fuzzy math going on. It's a long letter, and we did a rebuttal, which you can see on our website. The rebuttal, what I love about the rebuttal is our rebuttal is in red underneath every paragraph. So it's pretty darn good. But we're getting to them. I think it's a badge of honor, myself. We're getting to them. They know about us. They're nervous. They're trying to discredit us the best they can. But, you know, we're not going to give it up.
You've also presented to the State Attorney General and to other.
We've talked to some sheriffs. We've talked to the state police. The Attorney General did he meet with us? Did they meet with us? I don't recall.
Yes, Letitia James received
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
But
we
she
sent,
put everything, she never opened the box.
right.
And she sent it back to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, right.
You know, the state police aren't gonna help. because-
No, but the state police were really interested, and so were a few of the sheriffs, because
Well, the
a couple
state
of the
police-
clones
Yeah.
were working in the sheriff's office. Believe it or
The
not.
sheriff's office are a separate entity, and I think they would be more,
Yeah.
Well, they have jurisdiction,
they have, yeah.
but
And the state police